Good to see you again. Welcome to another rainy day here in South Mississippi. Figure this is a pretty good time to, why not, get together and shoot the breeze, and I'll answer your questions with the whole Q&A idea that I left with you guys on my last live feed. But before we do, let me open up some mail that I got from some of you guys. This comes from Bobby Henson. He says, "Hey Tramp, thanks so much for the PO info. Can't wait for the stickers. Possibly we might be making another ride to your area later in 2020. If we do, we'll definitely let you know. Possibly be coming to Dockery Farms. If so, we'll definitely come on down to the Gulf. Keep the videos coming. I've watched them all and several of them more than once. One of your biggest fans, Bobby Henson." Well, thanks Bobby. It would be pretty cool to meet you. I never really considered you guys fans. You're just like me, just a regular average human being. I appreciate the appreciation. You guys are the reason why this channel keeps going. It gives me the incentive to keep doing this kind of thing. Bobby, I can't really remember the details of our conversation, but leave a comment down below how many stickers you wanted and I'll see that you get some. And the next one comes from Scouse Adventures, all the way from Alberta, Canada. Wow, my first overseas piece of mail. Well, not overseas, but international mail. Couple of stickers. Heck yeah, this is cool. Check it out, guys. Here's Scouse's sticker right here. And I believe Scouse has a YouTube channel. In fact, I know he does, because I've subscribed to it. So I'm going to leave a link down below of Scouse's channel so you guys can go check him out. And Scouse sent me a letter with his logo on it. And it says, "Saddle Tramp. Alright, mate." And you know what, Scouse, the first time you called me mate in the comments, I thought you were from Australia. But anyway, I didn't know Canadians used that term too. He says, "Alright, mate. Hope this letter finds you well. Please find and enclose some of my stickers. Great job with your YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing many more of your videos. Hopefully you find time to check out my channel," which I have, "and very good content, if you haven't done so already. All the best, pal. Ride safe, and remember, you'll never walk alone. Kind regards, Scouse." Thank you, Scouse. I really appreciate these stickers. Anyway, you guys who have subscribed so far and who keep subscribing, and just your kindness, your benevolence, I never saw it coming in the beginning, and I didn't expect it. So honestly, it's really not the gifts and the mail that keeps us going. It's your overwhelming appreciation that I never see coming, and I don't think I will ever get used to that. I love you guys. You guys are so important. So anyway, let's get on to the questions that some of you guys had for me. And I'm going to read down here in the comments on the live chat video of the questions that people have asked. And the first question is coming from Bobby Henson. How about that? And Bobby says, "Just wondering, what is your favorite area to ride in your general vicinity? I love the Crossroads ride video. Thanks for any info." Well, Bobby, my favorite areas to ride in, well, I have to say number one, and it might seem kind of cliche, I like to go to places I've never been. Discovering new roads and new highways, new scenery I've never seen before, and especially doing it on the Tramp, on something that, I made with my hands. That's a great adventure to me, which is one reason why I rode this bike to the Crossroads, to discover new areas. Now, I will say, in Mississippi, I was really blown away by the Delta. When I made that video, when I captured the footage of that, I've never been to that part of the state before, so it didn't take long for me to get there, and then boom, I felt like I was 700 miles away from home because it was so different. I love areas where it looks like the sky meets the horizon, because where I live, there's a lot of tall pine trees, and you're kind of incarcerated from any sky scenery for the most part. But there's not really much to choose from as far as scenery in my general area. And the next question comes from Jim Berry. Jim asks, "Have you ever been to Daytona Bike Week?" No, Jim, I've never been to Daytona Bike Week. If I ever go to Daytona, it's going to be because I'm going somewhere. That's my main reason for going anywhere far away, really not just for the the sake of getting there, but just for the sake of going. I went to Sturgis one time in '06. I rode straight into downtown, didn't even put my foot down, and just kept on going and just rode around the Black Hills and saw the other sites. I really wasn't too interested in great big crowds and stuff like that. And one bike rally I do enjoy and did enjoy going to was the one in New Braunfels, Texas. It was the GiddyUp Texas Chopper Rally. That was a different flavor. That was a different kind of thing. Everybody was there for the same reason, and it was their appreciation for one another's rides and the choppers, and come together and hang out and get to know one another. That was my kind of speed. I do want to go to Thunder Beach, though, in Panama City, which happens twice a year, but preferably in the fall. But that's a whole other story. The next question comes from Edward Tillotson. And Edward says, on the Dinah that you used to ride, did you ever have a problem with high-speed, 80-mile-an-hour and up wobble? Edward, you know, when I used to have that bike and I used to ride with a certain group, that seemed to have been an epidemic with the Dinahs. I never had that issue. I don't know why, and some people say it was the front end, and some would remedy it by putting a stabilizer bar that runs from the frame to the fork, and some people say it had to do with air pressure in the tires. I just think it had something to do with the motorcycle itself. After all, the Dinah was rubber mounted, and the swing arm would pivot through the transmission case. It really wasn't part of the frame. And being that that is true, I don't know the name of the part, but I guess it's a stabilizer bar or whatever, or an adjustment bar that ran along the top motor mount that would also adjust the, you know, this angle of the engine. Well, if that would be off at all, which nothing's impossible with that, it would affect the alignment of the wheel or whatever, or just the, you get what I'm saying. I think that probably had something to do with it. Apparently my motorcycle was perfect when I got it. So no, I never had an issue with that. Okay, this question comes from Mofo. He says, any advice on keeping the water condensation off my glasses other than wearing a full face? I love eating the wind. You know, I get that issue too, but I never really addressed the issue. I just kind of dealt with it. I would just, you know, literally wipe my lens with my hand or whatever. The best thing that kept the condensation off, though, was stay moving, and my glasses wouldn't fog up. Unless, of course, it's foggy outside, but I tend to not ride in the fog because, you know, I like to see where I'm going and what I'm about to run into if I don't hit the brakes. Next question comes from XL Chop. And XL has 3 questions. And he says, when you decide to build a chopper, do you have a certain style that inspires you? Yeah, the certain style that pretty much inspires me is, of course, the older style. Not because I like older bikes, because they're old, it just happens to be what I like leans that direction. You know, this old heritage, which that's not a chopper, but you look at the Tramp, you know, kind of like that. It's just like how I'm doing with the Iron Head right there. Usually I have that style in my head. Sort of like the Dave Mann style, or there's a motorcycle club in Northern California, I believe, called the Death Traps MC. They ride nothing but that kind of thing. Look for them on Google Images and you'll see pictures of the rides and stuff. They're called Death Traps MC. And the second question is, how much planning and thought do you or have you done before and during a build? Like, example, draw pictures or sketches, make a punch list, etc. Actually, really I have a vague idea what I'm going to do. And with that vague idea, usually comes from what I already have to work with. With the Tramp, I built it with what I had to work with, pretty much. I had the opportunity to do it, so I did it, and I wanted to do it. It's my first build. I learned a lot of like what not to do when I built this bike. But, you know, planning, no, I just pretty much go as far as I can until I get to where I can't go no more and address what step I need to take to go forward. I just kind of go until I have to stop, and then I have to ponder and think about what to do next to make this project go. And can you recommend a good Bible study? You know, there's a lot of good ones out there and there's a lot of bad ones out there. But I would suggest, I don't know of any one specific program right off the top of my head, but if you want to go with the certain authors and certain writers, John MacArthur's a pretty good expositor. stuff from maybe R.C. Sproul, some of the dead guys too, like A.W. Pink, the stuff like that. Pretty much something in the Reformed area, not for the sake of being Reformed, but in my opinion, my humble opinion, I believe that is the most biblical area. And I know that's a controversial area to be in with a lot of people, but I don't have any bones against anybody who doesn't believe like I believe. Even if you're an atheist or something like that, I love you just the same, okay? I usually try to respect everybody's belief, and you want to discuss things, we can discuss things. And in the end, if you're persuaded or I'm persuaded, or if we just disagree, I would be happy to be content, just disagree to disagree, and hope I can still call you my friend, my amigo, and stuff like that. Next question comes from Jersey Nick Moto. And Jersey Nick says, I have a two-part question. Number one, what is the longest motorcycle trip you have taken? My longest motorcycle trip that I've taken thus far is riding from the area where I live in South Mississippi to California. Now, I didn't do it on that bike and I didn't do it on that bike. I did it on the bike that I traded to get that bike. But yeah, I rode from here to Los Angeles to visit some friends I'd never met before. Basically took the interstate the whole way there, but took all the back roads on the way home from California through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and right around the San Antonio area. I got back on the interstate and we came home. That is my longest trip so far, totaling of about 5,000 miles on that trip. Number two question is, how long have you lived in Mississippi and do you like living there? Well, I've pretty much lived here my whole life. I'm not originally from here. I was almost 3 years old in 1980 when my family moved down here from West Virginia. So I've been here ever since. I tried to leave several times and I always end up coming back. Is it because I like living here? I can't really say that. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I mean, living is better than dying, I suppose. But it's what I know. Really, it's what I know. I've seen some great scenery on my trip to California, my trip to Sturgis, on all my motorcycle travels. And when I come home and I see the Gulf of Mexico and the bayous, especially when I see the Gulf of Mexico, it's like looking at an old friend. It's just what I know. When you've been in one place your whole life and then you see new things, that's usually what molds your perspective. But I know that's kind of a long answer, but yeah, I've pretty much lived here my whole life, minus 2.5 years. Next question comes from a guy named Longbaggerek, UK. I assume you're from the UK. He says, hi Saddle Tramp, one of the main reasons I follow is because you seem to be very chilled and a relaxed guy. You're not caught up in this modern stressful lifestyle and you don't have the need to own a new M8 Harley. You're very happy riding the old bikes, etc. My question is to you, have you always been so chilled and cool, or did you reach a point in your life or an event in your life that changed how you think and became the person you are? Best wishes from the UK. Oh, I was right, he is from the UK. Well, Longbagger, that is a very, very deep question that requires a deep answer, so I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. I haven't arrived. Okay, and I don't think anybody has. I have struggles just like the next guy. I have things I fight with internally. I am not somebody who has gotten this formula down as far as how to always be content in life and happy and chilled out. I have issues just like the next person. We all have our own issues. Ultimately, it just depends on how you deal with life's troubles. Everybody has them. Nobody's immune to them. You've got issues. Everybody's got issues. I've got issues. But you know what? We're all unique. We're all built a certain way. We're all given a personality from God Almighty. And we're supposed to use that within reason. People have told me in the past that I help them get through their day or their week or whatever by watching my videos. And I'm going to tell you something. That is a blessing to me, that I'm actually helping somebody through this channel. I don't really know how to put that, but I appreciate each and every one of you. But really, to answer your question, I don't have it all together. I like to be chilled. I don't react like some people react to problems, but at the same time, it doesn't mean I'm immune. to how they affect me. So anyway, I appreciate that question though, I really do. I just want to let you guys know that I'm just as human as the next guy. I hope that's a satisfying answer to you, Longbagger. Well, that concludes all the questions. I appreciate you guys for watching and hanging out with me. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and hit that bell icon for more videos that are being uploaded or released. And I hope you guys have a good day, and you be good to yourselves. And thanks a lot.